Hello, Jada.
Hello, Trey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Yes.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 6. Welcome. Pause if you need to, reflect if you need to. Unfortunately, we can't pause, but you guys can. We're doing some reflecting today and talking about expectations.
Yes, absolutely. We're talking about expectations within all spectrums of relationships, from romantic to platonic friendships,
Yes.
and to family relationships.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's dive into it. First of all, expectations is a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes and breaks a lot
yeah.
of relationships.
And I think when I first learned just about them, it was, again, as we've been talking about this whole season, just reflecting and the expectations that I had for people and how those was just subsided for me. They're still there. I think naturally, just like as humans, we do have expectations of people in friendships and relationships. But I've learned throughout time is that, coming back on those just allows for a better relationship overall, just within yourself internally and externally with other people. When you don't set those expectations, you just have better relationships, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think that having the expectations subsided, like you said, takes a lot of animosity out of your mind.
It does.
And out of the energy between you and that specific person.
Yeah.
That's just one major thing that I like not having them, because I don't have them as many as I had before either.
Right. Yeah.
But then you got to also think we're two totally different people.
Yeah.
So the way our anger or our feelings, they come out different.
Yeah, they do.
So we're definitely going to point out that too. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
And I think what makes this content so organic and real is I've actually had experiences with you and my other friends of just having those expectations. And I think what we have to realize too is that people are different.
Yeah.
And I know I've heard some of my friends say to other friends oh, you're not a good friend or you're a terrible friend. Well, what's your definition or expectation of a friendship?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think everybody has different ones, and so either make those clear, in a relationship, because I think you can't avoid them altogether. You're going to have some expectations. We have expectations in intimate relationships, things that we want or things that we would like, and I think communicating or making those clear, but not having a whole crazy list of what those are allows for a better relationship overall.
Also, I kind of want to get into the patterns of friendships as well. What we were doing 2 years ago and what our schedule looked like as friends may be different now.
It does.
And then the person would reflect on that and be like, oh my God, our friendship has changed.
Right.
I mean, well, it doesn't change for the worse.
Right.
We're different people now. We're growing.
Yes.
And the fact that I want to, and I'm choosing to grow with you is amazing.
Yes.
And that you're picking me as well.
Yes.
So we're just going to get into a lot of great things.
That's
and
good.
Kind of going back to the reframing and seeing things from a different lens.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about this the other day when we were having a conversation with our friend's cousin, and just saying how, just in life in general, you have to choose and pick people that will grow with you.
Yes.
Because you're always going to be becoming, as Michelle Obama said. And I think it's important that you have people that can roll those punches with you. Yeah. My circumstances right now in life, as I am chasing and pursuing my dreams, are a little different. But I also have friends that are supporting me, and, they're here for me in this stage of my life. And I think in any relationship, whether it be an intimate relationship or a friendship, you have to choose people that are be willing to elevate and grow with you through those changes as you navigate throughout life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's start getting down to the nitty gritty.
Oh, God.
Before we get into this actual
outline.
Do
you have your Oprah shirt underneath that Cowboys thing? I feel like you do.
I'm kind of playing on it. This is kind of very casual Jada, but casual Jada is going to give you the biz. I think that it's going to happen in this episode. I don't know. But let's go back to college when we all met each other.
Yeah.
Let's go back to freshman year.
Yeah.
18, 19-year-old us.
Right.
As friends.
Yeah.
even with our close friends that we have now.
Yeah.
What type of expectations did you have for your friends?
You know what? I don't even know if I could say that I had expectations for my friends.
That's the interesting piece.
That is truly honest. That I just don't think that I did. I think I had expectations of myself of just like maintaining just college and flow and, you know, being the best student and son that I could be at that time. So I had expectations on myself, not so much the external relationships that I had out there. So I can't even say that I had expectations at that young age of other people.
Exactly. And I can definitely say the same thing because all the friendships were new. Even with my roommate, they were new because we weren't never as close as we were.
Right.
So I was just kind of learning myself as well.
Yeah.
Trying to hone in on friendships. I wanted connections with people.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that I wanted that until the first week of school.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool seeing that, oh wow, I'm actually gonna have a community here.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to take things back to when we had none.
Right. And I think, you know,
that's the start of this timeline.
Yeah, it is that start of all of this.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that is a correct statement. The start of this timeline. Another piece is, I forgot it as you were talking about the start of the timeline. Dang. What was I gonna say? I missed it. It went right. It went right out the window.
It's all right.
It's gonna come back to me.
It's fine.
But when it does come back to me, I'm gonna jump in and be like, Jada, you know how my mind works and operates,
and it's fine.
I need to get this in at this time.
Yes.
But please continue.
But back to it. So from there,
yeah,
we were all having fun, being crazy college kids.
Yeah.
So boom, let's fast forward a couple of years. We're all already established friends.
Right.
Some people are besties, some people are not. Some people are just party friends.
I got it.
Okay.
See, you see how that just happened right there? I got it. You had, you know, you wanted to build and foster those relationships. And I think this goes back to what I said in the beginning about us just being different people and understanding who you are, while you wanted to build and craft like relationships. And you just you knew that you did, or you had an idea, but you really didn't know or put your finger on it. I did not want to do that. And that's just based off the person, individual that I am. And Jada can tell you, when I think we had our couple first interactions or whatever, and they came in my dorm and they were like, yo, why does this guy look so stuck up? For me internally, I need to, just the type of person that I am, I have to fill out the space. I have to fill out where I am, get acclimated and comfortable with those things. It's kind of almost like filling up yourself before you can pour into someone else. And I'm not talking that deeply as 19-year-old Trey. I'm talking that deeply as 25-year-old Trey.
Right. Of what you were doing.
Of what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that's just anything, like a social gathering or whatever. I'm filling out the room and identifying, you know, like, okay, who's who inside of this room? Okay, where am I at in this room, and where do I fit in? Do I like these people? Do I not like these people? And I think that's just the individual and person that I am. So it's funny that you said that you were looking for connections. I was not the first week. Maybe as we got into the third week or fourth week or whatever like that, and I started going to parties and things like that with my roommate. But I was not looking for that.
Yeah, just the start of college in general was just very unclear to me. I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Right.
I never put thought process into it.
Yeah.
Being in high school, I never thought like, oh, this is going to end and I'm probably going to go to college. And none of that was like really honed in on me. And I did not know that school was actually going to kind of be like what they portray everywhere else.
Right, on TV.
I thought it was going to be something different. I thought I was going to school, having a little interaction with people in school.
Yeah.
Eat, go to school.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was so much socially.
It definitely was a lot of eating.
It was a lot of eating, but it was a lot of social aspects to college.
It was.
So if you were a person that was sheltered or a person that didn't really like communicating with others, college could be a very difficult place for you.
Yeah, it was very, very
We're trying to connect with people.
No, absolutely. And the more that I just got out there more and was more involved and just kind of put myself out there, the better my college experience, you know, just began. And I think it started with doing like that play at ODU, and then eventually connecting with you guys and, you know, becoming friends. But before then, it was very like, you know, not isolated, but just, you know, to yourself. And I think it truly is, you know, college is what you make it. So the more you get out there and interact and talk with people and communicate, I think the better your college experience was. And mine's definitely got better after I was like, okay, I figured out the space. I know what's what, and I know who these people are. You know, I think, I can make these people my friends. Like, I'm down for that. So,
right. Yeah.
It took some time.
It took you about 3 months.
It did not take me 3 months. Well, in the beginning,
to completely 100% open up, it took you about a couple of months.
Because you're still.
It took me 2 weeks.
You're still.
But it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
And I say we were two different people. We're going to talk about it from two different aspects.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great episode. I'm loving it already. But yeah, but you can just see the dichotomy of that. Like there's some people that are trying to fill it out.
Yeah.
And you should be I should have probably done that a little more.
Yeah.
Just being more observant of my environment.
Yeah, your surroundings. Yeah, absolutely.
But I was just ready to have a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was there to have a good time.
Yeah. No.
So yeah.
You knew you were there to have a good time. You just didn't know when that good time was coming.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, you knew you were there to have a good time. You just didn't think it would be the first or second night.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Skinny.
Oh gosh, the inside jokes.
Yeah, inside jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that period before T&J.
Yeah.
What we really thought of the environment where we created the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So let's fast forward once the relationships and the friendships are established.
Right.
What did expectations kind of start to look like, or so what are some of the scenarios that you're comfortable with sharing where those were present and those boundaries were created and you figured it out?
Yeah. Okay, for me, I do things very thoroughly and I'm gonna do it every time. Okay, and that's not just me toot my own horn. That's just who I am as an individual and person. You can thank my parents for that. They have instilled that in me. Thank you, mom and dad, for making me a thorough individual. And so I know sometimes that probably like I get on my friends' nerves with the way that I am and how I move and I operate. But if there was a project or something that needed to get done, or there was a situation that they are in, I bet you I'll be their first phone call and the person that they are talking to, because guess what, Trey comes with solutions and he's gonna figure it out. Mm-hmm. So that is me, and very thorough in that sense or essence. And when I was figuring out my friends and, dealing with them as well, the problem that I had as far as expectations was expecting me out of my friends. And I can't do that. And when I learned that, I was so much more better. And this is the other thing too. It looks different for everybody. So while I may be this thorough and on top of it type A individual, I may have somebody like my friend Jada here, and she is thorough, but at the same time, she's more chill and lax. And it's like, it's not as a big of a deal, or it's not as it is to me as it is to her. And I'm like, yo, why is she so freaking lax about this? I'm like this is me, this is who I am as an individual. I care like this. Why does she not care like this? And I had to realize she's a completely different person than I am. And stop expecting yourself out of your friends in order to have successful or good relationships. And I think you're so much better when you let go of that narrative and that expectation that your friends have to be you. And if they were you, your friendships would be boring. Yeah. So you have your friends for a certain reason. And I think also too, it's realizing how they communicate, how they move, how they care for one another. We talk about love languages and intimate relationships all the time. Can we talk about how you show up for your friends in those cases as well? What type of support does your friend do, in terms of that relationship? How do they show up for you? And you may not feel like you're being supported, but maybe that's just not the way that they show up. But it's also too communicating, hey, this is what works for me and this is what I like to see in my friends. Now, they don't have to adhere to that. They don't have to change completely. They are their own individuals and they get to pick and choose who they want to be friends, or not. So yeah, I had to stop expecting me out of my friendships, and things look differently. So where it may be my this is my level, and this may be Jada's level. Well, my level is just a little bit higher. Jada's level may be like this. That doesn't mean that she's lacking anywhere. Mm-hmm. This is her cap. You know what I mean? This is my cap, where I may go a little bit harder. In that certain
scenario, what we're talking about.
Right.
Because it's all about intra-perspective. Right. Like, I know that you're going to be high energy on certain things. Yeah. So, like, there's no reason for me to match that. Right. Because then we're not going to get anything done. Right. Because we're both worried about the same scenario, same thing. Yeah. And that means we can't get to the solution. Absolutely. So, things that you may miss with the energy that you're at, I'm going to match it by not matching it and figuring out the other aspects so we can bring both of our puzzle pieces together to get a solution with anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because there's definitely times where I have to be the friend that you are to some of my other friends.
Right. But that's not needed or present when you're having a conversation or you're in a situation with me, because I'm gonna bring that energy already.
Exactly, you're gonna bring it already, and it's just really all about, hey, we're gonna bring it back to the communication, self-communication episode. The more that you know yourself, the better it's gonna be when you're trying to be that friend or that support to someone else.
Absolutely.
So it's just it really all intertwines with each other.
It does. It really does. It's all like a big connecting like piece. And I love it. And I tell you, my life got so much better when I stopped just putting that expectation on people. I have a friend, and they were real caught up on, someone not saying anything about their birthday, and they have a big deal, with birthdays. They go out of their way to make sure they communicate and tell that person happy birthday, maybe even go above and beyond by getting them a gift, something that they didn't even ask for. They just, maybe mention in conversation, but just paying attention to them inside of that relationship and not receiving that same energy. And I had to tell them, hey, they're not you. If that is something that you value in a friendship, and that's something that you want to receive, I would communicate that and let them know. But just know that if it does not happen, that it's not the end of the world when that doesn't happen. So just realizing where you are as an individual and things that you expect from other people, you kind of got to break that down a little bit and just know that it's not everyone's cup of tea to do those things, and you can expect that.
The problem that kind of comes in is when said person looks and values, well, not values, but looks at the other friendships that the other person has with their circles, and they're like, okay, well, they're doing X, Y, and Z for this person, but they're not doing it for me. And it's touchy subject, because you're right, it's a fact what you're saying, but you don't know what that other friend is probably going through, and they need to put more energy into that person, or they're doing things for that person for a specific reason, and it could be a lot of things going on. Doesn't negate your feelings. You should definitely be communicative and still tell them how you feel, but you can't go off of what the person does for other people, because your relationship with that person is your relationship. And that's what really kind of trickles down to it, because a lot of people are very observant, even though they don't think they are. Like, maybe you aren't with yourself, but if you're observant to your friend that much that you're looking at the other friendships that they have, then that's just another point.
And I think that's another point to bring up, this piece that I have for each of my friends, and I don't have many of them. Okay. My circle's very small. For each of my friends, I communicate with them in a different way. I just do. And it's based off of how they are and who they are as individuals. Now, we went to school for communications, and we've studied these things, so we're a little bit more deeper on it versus just the surface level. But I did share with my friends that, hey, each of you all, I communicate with you all in different ways. And I had a friend asking about just perspectives, and how do you go about communicating or telling this person something that maybe they're not the best at hearing, or they don't really want to hear. And you have to really deep dive into that individual. How does that person receive communication? What are they open to? What are some things that you've noticed in the past from previous conversations that maybe just didn't go well? And take those things into our inventory, like we talked about, and then pulling that out when you're speaking to certain individuals or friends. You may have a friend that is quick to pop off at the mouth. Well, you know that you need to take your time when expressing words, or communicating with them, because you know how they are as an individual. Is this more work on you as an individual? Yes, it is. But welcome to relationships in general, internal and external relationships. It just does require some work. But that's how deep it goes for me as far as my friendships, because I really do value them, and value the people that, are around me. So it matters to me how I communicate with them. And the same thing as far as for me, like, if they can just take into account the type of individual that I am, and maybe, okay, the keys receive, communication well this way, or maybe not so well this way. Maybe this is the way to go about it. But what I don't want to get to is where my friend doesn't communicate to me at all, or feel as though they can't share or express those things. And that's happened. That has happened.
Yeah, I feel like that's the next level of friendship where we need to kind of untap with that. We'll talk about that later in the episode. But I want to piggyback off of what you said. Saying that we were more than surface level when it came to communicating, because we were literally actively going to school for it. I think that made our friendships even deeper.
Yes,
I think it made them even deeper, and the expectations went to hell because of that. Because we were getting PowerPoints and looking at presentations all day every day of what healthy relationships should be. And when you see the relationships in college, friendships, romantic relationships, people are drunk 75% of the time.
This is true. You be like, oh my God, I love her, she's my girl. No, girl, you are just intoxicated.
Exactly. So it's just kind of hard in a college environment to even have healthy relationships, because everything around us and the things that we're doing are probably not the healthiest.
And it's messing with your mind.
Exactly. So we're sitting here like, oh my God, like we need to work on this, that, and the third. Oh my God, you didn't do this. Oh my God, I didn't do that. Maybe I didn't even communicate well when you needed it. But it's like, calm down, slow down. We're still college students figuring it out.
Absolutely. And people probably aren't even having those conversations about, oh, I didn't do this, or I didn't communicate with you, or I didn't show up this way. It's probably like, bump it, whatever. I'm not cool with you right now. I need to take a moment. That was me. I was that individual.
You were.
Trey has grown.
You are definitely grown.
I have grown. And it was bad. And I think that's where that expectations piece really came in really important for me, because I would just take time and breaks away from my friends and not really deal with the issues at hand. Eventually I would, but I also needed that moment of just like taking a step back and just like decompressing. And like figuring out everything before I jumped in and had that conversation, because I am a heated individual. Okay, that can be. And so when I jump into conversations, or if there's an altercation or whatever, I need a moment to just kind of unpack and step back and make sure that I'm communicating properly and effectively, because if not, it'll just get worse. So I think it's understanding who you were, and I think at that time that's what I needed. I think right now I can process things a little bit faster, and I can still communicate and let you know, hey, I love you, we're great friends, but I do need a moment to process this right here. Let's talk on Tuesday. Let's talk on Monday. Not just leaving it open and not communicating and not getting back to you at all. And you're like, what the hell is going on with my friend? Are you pissed at me? Do you like me right now? Are we no longer cool? Whatever. And leaving someone to wonder about those things. And that happened to me in a intimate relationship, and I did not like the feeling of that. And I said, wow, damn, does this how my friends feel when I take a step back?
It's all
and
about
I don't
reflection.
Communicate with them at all, or reach back out to them at all, or they don't know what's going on. That leaves too much room, especially for my creative and overthinkers, those individuals. It leaves too much room for them to be inside their head, and that's not fair to them. Yes, you should take the time to process things and emotions and feelings and things like that, but also let that person know, hey, I plan to communicate with you again. This is not the end of our relationship or friendship. I'm gonna get back to you. Just allow me 24 hours to decompress.
Another stigma that I don't like that's spewing out right now is that if relationships are hard, then they're probably not meant for you. I don't like that rhetoric at all. I don't like that concept at all. Because there's definitely a line, and it's not a thin line, between toxicity and friendships and romantic relationships, and just having those bumpy times that you need to get through. Because just like you said, if we were the same person, it will be boring, whatever relationship it is. So, and then even with people who have similar characteristics, it's even heightened even more. Some people have those boring relationships, but sometimes it's even elevated and the arguments are 10 times worse. So just look into practices of kind of mending those and figuring out what you need when you are angry, instead of just having the argument and just not talking about it and bump it over, because it's going to always be an elephant in the room. Or if you continue to eliminate them, when the next argument comes, it's going to be even greater, because you guys still haven't resolved what happened before.
It's so much packed up things and items that just hasn't been like decompressed. And I had to learn that too. Like, hey, stop holding everything in. If there's a conversation that needs to be had, don't let it, because we're all different individuals. Me personally, younger Trey was take it all in like a balloon and composing of all this air, and then when I get to a point of where I'm ready to pop, it's all coming out. And that's not healthy, because it's like, okay, where was this conversation months ago? Like, why didn't you have this conversation or discuss or talk about these things? And now it's coming to surface level because we have another issue or problem, and you really have all these things that you need to work through and get out.
Yeah. It's really,
the growth is real.
Yeah, the growth is really real. It is.
Pat myself on the back right there.
Another communication piece I want to kind of talk into now, because I mean, we're in the media age.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people communicate mainly off of text messages. Mm-hmm. It's tones.
Yeah.
I think that you should definitely be very aware of how your messages or how you communicate comes off to other people.
Yeah.
Because something that's lighthearted to you may not be to the other person.
Right. Yeah.
So definitely, if within the relationship or friendship, if that comes up of the person saying, hey, I didn't like how you said that, or this, that, and the third, kind of having those conversations of what may be uncomfortable to them, and figuring that out as well. Because that's definitely another ringer for what people kind of do and what they expect from you.
Right. It definitely is. And I had to have a friend tell me, it was like, like, let's have a phone call. I'm like, the hell you want to have a phone call about? What do you want to talk about? Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. But it was communicated through text message, and and they were also studying communications as well. And they said, hey, like, it's easy for things to get misconstrued through, via text message. And, based off of your internal emotions and feelings, that's how you're perceiving my message. And I'm like, okay, don't take my Norfolk Dr. Phil title from me. Okay. I didn't know that. And so we had a phone conversation, and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But because wherever I was at in that space, maybe you're having a busy day, or maybe it's stressful, or maybe there's too many bad instances that have happened for the day, and you feel as though you're having a bad day, and then you get a text message from someone, and it's like, okay, what the hell you on today?
Right.
Why are you adding to my stress? They're not. They're really just coming to you with whatever they have. But you're perceiving it in a different way because of what you're going through and experiencing for that day. So that had to happen to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just like you said, that was a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what that person went through that day or through that certain scenario.
Yeah.
So definitely just watching tone and just watching how your friend will want to be communicated to.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's very valuable that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah. And once you take these items from this episode and you actually implement them into your life, I promise you, your relationships, intimate relationships, or just friendships will get so much better when you are just self-reflecting and realizing things about yourself and taking off those expectations. Release the expectations shackles.
Yes. Release them.
Let them go, and I promise you, your relationships will be so much better. Jada, we talked about 2019 for you as far as expectations, but can we talk about later years for you as far as expectations goes, or did you weigh in on that already? I don't think you did.
I don't know. We can start talking about present day now. I love everything that you said about your reflections and how you're grown now. For me, I feel like all my friends, like different friend circles, they're all in different places, different spaces. Don't talk to a lot of my friends the way I used to.
Okay. Please come back to that, but yes, go ahead.
So it's just a little bit different for me right now. I wouldn't say that now that is something that we could do. We could see each other more. Some of my friends back from Richmond, I feel like we could definitely see each other more.
Right.
I mean, but life is life, and I like prioritizing my family right now, because of previous things that have happened, and I like being with my family a lot, because you just never know. So I've been prioritizing those relationships and kind of getting those stronger now. So I definitely feel like I should even hang out more with my other friends. I feel like we haven't had enough conversations for us to even like have issues with expectations right now. But another thing, shout out to you, Nia. I feel like within the later years, I feel like once we became like 17 or 18 years old, I feel like our friendship has definitely become something that's very subtle now, and not a lot of like arguing over petty things anymore.
Because we're older.
Shout out to you, because every time we do talk or have a conversation, it is smooth. I love that,
and it's growth, and that shows that that's growth in you as an individual, and that's growth in her as an individual as well. So
some of these friendships though, we still working.
But
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I get to practice and hone in on some of the things that I learned.
Right.
And
yeah.
I love it. And I love continuing to figure it out
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
It's like a new challenge all the time.
Right.
Of trying to figure out, okay, you've grown.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months
Yeah.
since we even had a thought of expectations on this friendship.
Yeah.
Now, let me figure out how to like cater to your needs right now.
Yes.
And I love doing that for my friends.
That's good. That's so good. Look at that. Look at your growth.
Yeah.
We over here just sitting and growing.
Yeah.
The Richmond Oprah and Norfolk Dr. Phil.
I just hate how you just made that. The Norfolk Dr. Phil. The Norfolk Dr. Phil.
Hey, we gonna get shirts now.
We need somebody that's in Portsmouth.
Oh, no, we don't.
What's Portsmouth, Ricky Lake?
I'm screaming. I want to go back to what you were talking about, is not seeing your friends as much.
Yeah.
I think too, and I had a instance where my friends come to me with a lot of different items that they're trying to just unpack and uncompartmentalize, which I love, because I love the opportunity to do that. Now, if you catch me on a busy day, I might say, hey, let's check back in tomorrow. I just got too much going on to help you unpack that right now. But I think you brought up a good point about not being able to see your friends. And this specific friend made a point that how they always make an effort to see their friends, and that he doesn't feel like the same energy is being reciprocated when it comes to other friends, seeing him and things like that. And just like, I can't shake that. I just don't know how to feel. Like, why don't you make the same effort to see me? And I had to explain to him, there are people that I had from high school that I was really close with, and had great friendships with at that time in my life. And that's okay. I still love them. I'm still friends with them, and when I see them on social media and things like that, I check in on them, or things happen in their lives, I reach out and things like that. But it's not like we've seen each other in years,
right?
But that does not mean that the friendship has not changed,
right?
You know what I mean? It's just we're in different times in our lives of where something may be relevant or cool or pop into you. Great. That's not where I'm at right now. So my priorities are a little bit different. Not to say that yours are any less or mine are any greater than yours. We're just at different stages in our lives. And that does not mean that we're not cool or we don't bang with each other anymore. It just means that we're in different places. And I think that's maturity in that, and realizing that, hey, like, yeah, I may not see my friends, every weekend or go out or whatever, but we both have things that we're working on and that we're trying to accomplish. And it doesn't shift the dynamic of a friendship. You can just be at different stages of your lives and still have those relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great point that you brought up.
Yeah, definitely wanted to kind of speak on that.
Yeah.
Because our past selves, we definitely prioritize having those times to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because it was a main part.
Right.
I feel like, I can't speak for you, but for me, it was 50-50. It was 50 social, 50% school.
Yeah.
So I feel like we definitely had more time, space, and opportunity to make those times very, very physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
With us being together, physically together, hanging out.
Yeah. That is great. And we have grown, because I know I do not talk and communicate with you guys as much since I've started everything with LM, and just taking on more clients or trying to go out there and get more sales and things like that. So I know that I have been more busier, but I feel like you guys also see my vision too, and you see where I'm going as far as taking this thing and running with it. And so you guys support that, and you don't get offended, or you don't feel away when I don't reach back out, or there's not a text message. Now I'm going to still text you back, I'm going to get back to you, but it just may not be ASAP or as soon as possible.
That's like the next stage though of friendship.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you had something that was like really, really, really important, and you couldn't talk to anybody for 6 weeks, from the last day we talked to the next time we talk, and 6 weeks later, it'll be the exact same.
Yeah.
So that's how you know that you have a true friend.
Yeah. And I've had, yeah, absolutely. And I've had friendships where, maybe in my more immature phases of life, of where I have stopped talking to people, and it has been 6 months or a year, and, spun the block, and I'm like, hey, like this, I did feel this way at this certain time in my life. These are the things that I was kind of hoping for, but I can't put that expectation on you of how you handle things and you go through and deal with things, and I have to stop expecting me out of you, and the relationship just mended and glued back together like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that is true. That's when you know that you have a real friend. And I think it also goes to that saying too, if something's meant for you, it'll come back. It'll spin the block if it's meant for you.
Yep.
Friendship, intimate relationship, whatever it is, if it's supposed to be for you, it'll end up coming back to you. So, oh my gosh, this is on fire. I need a fire extinguisher because this mic is hot.
Here you go with that boozy.
No. Oh, okay. Jada says I sound like Boosie when
what I say? It's like Iverson doing the step back crossover, shoots it and misses. Great point. Do you go into some crazy?
Well, that's just how it.
No,
that just goes along with the delivery of it.
Messing with you,
it just feels right in the moment. It does.
Yeah.
It brings.
Give me some more Boosie.
No.
Oh my goodness,
gosh, I feel like we just flowed through so much. Now we gotta go back to the timeline and figure out if we went through everything in our notes.
We could talk about the social media aspects of expectations with friends. I think I love social media for the relationship aspect of it, seeing, and that's why I watch a lot of YouTube, because it's so interesting seeing people portray their relationships online. And they go through the same stuff.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of vloggers and stuff, you will see them doing content with their best friends. Yeah, they're all YouTubers. Right. For like 3 weeks, and then they'll take like 6 weeks off, and then they'll go back to another month of content straight with them. Yeah. And it's like, wow. So y'all even understand. Yeah. And y'all are making money from being around each other all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something also too in that point is they also understand that time alone in itself is important as well. Yeah. In order to have the best relationships, and we talked about this in a previous episode, you do have to have that time to yourself. So even within type of, working relationships, and the fact that they needed to take that time apart and just kind of like regroup, or, maybe they had other things plans or vacations or other friends that they needed to interact with or, touch base with, but just realizing that relationship with yourself is just as important as the intimate and friendship relationships as well.
I think it's definitely really, really cool to watch. And I don't think that aspect of social media is unhealthy for children and adolescents either. I think it's a really good representation, especially like with Black YouTube or what they say. I think that there are some good examples. I mean, some toxic stuff, but I think there's definitely good examples of what a healthy friendship would look like in social media.
Well, that's good, and hopefully that it's actually genuine and it's a real friendship.
There's some ghetto stuff out there,
and
but
it's not just for film. We are actually
you can definitely tell
real friends in real life.
You could tell when they just they just got the same brand deal and they just but the real ones that they promote out, I'm not gonna shout anybody out, but the real ones is pretty healthy.
Energy does not lie. Okay.
Not the like romantic relationships, I wouldn't say model those. Yeah. But some of the friendships that are on YouTube are pretty cool.
And I don't watch it like Jada does. Honestly, I'm so involved but so detached from social media at the same time. I'm always looking at stuff that I can, post or recreate as a creative, or stuff for my clients or businesses or brands or things like that. But when people tell me, hey, did you see X, Y, and Z happen on this? Unless it's something big and like all the media outlets and stuff like that are covering it and it's like all over my timeline, I really do not see it. So I'm so like disconnected from like social media, but so connected at the same time. But I will say too, I just want to applaud those people who are actually out there, do have the genuine friendships and relationships out there online that people are just able to see and showcase. Because I was just talking to Jada before we actually started recording this, and I was like, yo, and Kalia that's behind the monitor, I'm like, the hardest thing about this is like actually putting yourself out there for everyone to see, talking about your past relationships, talking about the nitty gritty, where you have grown at and where you realize your faults or where you fall short at. Like, that is tough. So shout out to them, whoever they are. If you're out there and you're making content and it's genuine and it's about your relationships or even your journey, just on different paths, but we'll talk about that later.
There was literally a relationship, a friendship that I seen, and like they got into a horrible argument. I mean, they didn't show that, but horrible argument, like honestly physically fighting.
Oh wow.
Got to their resolution within 3 weeks. they're laughing and talking about the story on YouTube. I'm like, those are real friends.
Yeah.
And then showing how they got to the resolution.
Yeah.
What the problems were, how they assessed it, how they were able to apologize to each other.
Yeah.
That's some positive stuff that people need to watch.
That's a lot. That's too much public opinion for me. Personally.
Hey, they got to check from it. What do you think about people in story times, though? Because I know that's like a TikTok thing, too. What do you think about people saying story times about stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think
relationships or whatever.
You know how I feel about content and stuff on social media. If it's something of value and it's something that you can teach someone or add to their lives, I'm all for it. But if it's not, why are we posting it?
Yeah, it's like 27 part TikToks and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even want to watch any of that.
Yeah. What's the one with Tessa?
What?
The one where she was talking about that crazy guy that she dated.
Oh yeah, the one that went viral.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of it.
Yeah,
but like it was like somebody she didn't know, or a husband, or some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Now in that case, I think that is cool. Now she's opening. I think she's sharing her personal story, but she's also showing some of the characteristics or things that she noticed in the individual that she should have saw as red flags, and maybe she can help someone else out. I think that is adding value, and to someone else, and it's also entertainment at the same time. I did not watch the whole thing. I probably watched till episode till part 10, and I was like, okay, I have other stuff to do.
Right.
But I think that is cool in the sense of if you're putting people on game and you're providing them with some type of value and teaching them how to not make the same mistakes, I think that's cool. That works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those are a couple examples of social media day and age.
Yeah.
How they are kind of portraying their expectations of their friends.
Yeah.
Or relationships on social media.
Yeah. Is there anything that you, as far as like expectations, you want to work on right now, or you still want to improve on as an individual for expectations inside of intimate relationships or friendships?
Let's see. I haven't really done another self-reflecting time. I just really want to make more time.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one thing that I really could say.
Yeah.
As far as the expectation piece, just like I told you, I don't really have as many as I had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just try to be there.
Yeah.
However I think.
Right. Yeah.
I just need to be more present, though. I definitely know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that 100%. I actually do feel that, and I feel the same way. Just I think I do show up, but just being a little bit better with the communication piece and kind of like sharing with my friends of where like I'm really at. I think you guys kind of get the aftermath from me of like things and experiences that has happened, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about. Hey, what did freshman year look like for you? I have to figure it out internally by myself before I just like bring it up and share it with you. And I had a friend that I went to high school with, and he was like, yo, I definitely noticed that about you. I may hear something from your other friends just about like your energy and where you're at. So I know you're going through something, but I know that you'll share that when you're ready.
Right.
So just being more like, hey, this is where I'm at in life, whatever. I tend to figure it out behind the curtain. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And then come on stage with it.
Kind of honing in on that as well. What was I gonna say?
Oh, she's having a Trey moment.
Yeah, I'm having a Trey moment.
Oh, snap. We're human.
Yeah, we are human.
We're human.
What was the point I was gonna make?
Human. Was it a point that I was talking about specifically in my my rant, my mini rant?
Yeah, it was more on.
When the Norfolk Dr. Phil strikes, it's so hard to.
Yeah, you actually got me on that one.
Yeah.
You got me on that one. But I guess we're just gonna go on a new point because that just pissed me off.
No, because it's usually me. I'm the one that's usually stunned and just like, yo, damn it, I forgot my point. Like, I don't even know what I was saying. And so for miscommunication expert sitting over here, for that to happen to her,
that's crazy.
But it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
And when it comes back to you, I'll pause. Now, don't expect me to remember the point that I was originally on when I paused, because my mind does not operate like that. I have to write it down. I got to write it down, or I either got to say it right then and there. And on my Zoom calls and meetings, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to cut you off, but I don't know if you know how I operate. I just will forget what I was going to say, and then that'll be that. Look at me being open and transparent with the people. I am not perfect.
That was a lot.
What I just said?
Yeah. Expectations. I feel like we gave them a lot about expectations anyway. I feel like I could go forever, but I did forget my point. It was going to be a good point.
It's okay. This happened to me yesterday, and I'm still talking about it to this morning. She's like, it's okay. You know what I'm going to be saying today after we've done filming? It's okay.
It is okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but you can't go wrong with coming down on those expectations and just communicating clearly to just where you're at, as an individual. But yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to work on as far as just sharing where I'm at, in the process, even if I'm not fully ready to share. And I think that goes back to childhood of just trying to have it all together and figuring it out. And I think I have the same approach when it comes to my friends. I'm going to figure it out first, and then I'm going to let you know, hey, this is where I'm at, or this is what I've learned. And so I think it becomes more of a teaching piece to my friends versus I think
I got it. Going back to communicating with our friends and you saying that they aren't comfortable talking about different things with you. I've experienced that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like the nature of you being that person that's telling them straight how it is, because a lot of people are just saying, hey, yeah, that's great, this, that, and the third, and they're just kind of agreeing with you just to make you comfortable. And that friend that makes you uncomfortable, just give them grace as well.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a weird dynamic when you think about it, because I'm definitely sometimes a friend that is trying to tell you what you really actually need to hear, because you've gone to several different friends, and they're okay with it. But when I see something that's kind of off, and I say it, just don't see it as okay, everybody else is cool with what I'm going through and what's going on, but you have a problem with it,
right?
That's definitely what I wanted to talk about.
Gotcha. You see how I just kind of recapped on all that and it triggered her point?
Yeah.
We
trigger each other.
That's called great potting.
Yeah, it's called we're too close.
Bringing everything full circle. Let's bring it back to the original point. Oh, I got it. Y'all got it in the wide angle. Y'all saw when I did that face when she said I got it. Yeah. I think too, just understanding, even if you do have a friend that's hearing the approval or getting the okay stamp from multiple individuals, and then they just get to you and
that's not it, dog.
That's not what I was thinking or whatever. I think just in making sure that it's communicated or talked to in a way for that appropriate friend, because it may come off or it may not be the right thing. And I think you can say the same thing but say it in a different way.
And it goes back to the tone.
Yeah, it goes back to the tone. And I'm so heavy on that, tone and how you deliver and say things. I've just experienced sometimes where I'm just like, I really don't like the way that was said. I get what you were saying, but I don't like the way that it was said. So for me, I feel like I have perfected and mastered that. I can always get better. There's always room for improvement. But I have perfected that because I want to be talked to in a certain way. And I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make them feel any way. And that's learning from past experiences. So I think in that too, if you have all these friends that have given you the okay, and this friend is okay, here's the seventh friend that's about to give you this feedback, just make sure it's in a way where they can receive it well.
You can only fake the funk but for so long.
You
can only fake the funk for so long. It's just interesting seeing with that specific scenario of okay, maybe he or she needs for people to be easy on her, but then again, that is very dangerous, because if you don't say something and then something negative happens from the scenario that everybody's approving, then you feel bad. And then it's more animosity, because it's I should have told you, and you should have already knew that. But no, they didn't, because you didn't convey it. And even if you did convey it, you probably didn't convey it in a way that they were able to accept it. So I just think that's a really
and definitely point. If you feel strong about something and this is your friend and you love them and you think that this is something that they need to hear, by all means, I'm not saying hold back and don't say what you want to say or what you truly feel strong about. I'm just saying make sure it's in a a positive, not a positive way, but it's just in a way that they can perceive
it to be good.
Absolutely.
Or heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's a whole thing for it. Now it's happening to me because I definitely thought of something, but as she was talking, it went right out the window.
All right. Well, yeah, expectations. I think that we covered everything that we can.
Yeah, but
with
I had another
what to
good
expect.
point,
Well,
too.
what is the point?
I just said I had it. That doesn't mean I have it currently.
Oh,
that means
you don't
I
currently
had
it, but you had it, and you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. How about you do the circling thing that I did?
And
we'll come back to that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, because we're recircling. Ferris wheel. Woo, circle.
Well, yeah. Just know that it goes a lot into successful and good relationships. Yeah. It takes time.
Yeah.
There it goes. I got it back. Also, to what we've been talking about this season, as far as just understanding where you are, I think that goes back to the levels, right? Of like, this may be, my excellent, and this is Jada's excellent. That doesn't mean that it's not the same level. It also depends on where they're at as well. They may have not gotten to that place of where they're ready to stretch and grow into that level or piece or area. And I think you have to realize that your friends do grow and evolve over time. So where they're excellent may be 1 year, it may not look like that in 5 years from now. They're excellent may be hand in hand with where you're at. You know what I mean? So I think also just understanding that too, as far as you talking about, having grace for people, you have to understand where that person and individual is at as well.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been great.
Yeah.
I don't even think I think we completely shied away from timeline. Oh no, we talked about some of the stuff.
We didn't completely shy away.
And we
hit every single thing.
Yeah, we just didn't need it.
Yeah. I told you before that.
We're on fire.
This was going to be one of the more organic ones.
Someone get us a fire extinguisher.
The more topics that we have, I'm just gonna ignore it. The more topics that we have that are related to the scenarios that we have had, it's gonna be an easier episode. Yeah. So just kind of give the people what they need.
Mm-hmm. Give the people what they want.
Yeah,
this is what they want to see. Okay, well, I think that's a wrap, right?
Yeah, this is a wrap on expectations and how you should talk and care for your friends.
Yes. Don't bring them down. Yeah. Just mitigate those expectations that you have for your friends in order to have those successful relationships. Wherever you guys are watching, whether you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, make sure you guys like this video, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Let us know what you're thinking. Are you sitting at the 1 star? Are you sitting at the 5 star? I'm pretty sure it's on the 5 star type of end based off of this episode. I need a fire extinguisher for this mic over here. But yeah, make sure to also subscribe to us on YouTube. I feel Jada looking at me. Like and comment as well. And we will see you guys next week.
Please share. Also, please share.
Yes, share the episode with a friend and you feel like you got some expectations or maybe some stuff you need to get off your chest. Or maybe you just don't want to say it. You just think they need to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Share it.
Anything that needs to happen, please do it.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, it's been another episode of T&J Child's Play, episode 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you so much.
All right, y'all.
All right, goodbye.